Eric Darling here with Darling Data. Another beautiful, sunshiny day here. I can't wait for winter to be done. I grow wary of this weather. I don't like being cold. Probably the biggest impact it has on me is that I have to wear full length sweatpants to the gym instead of my usual very comfortable 5-inch jogging shorts, which allow for a much more comfortable range of motion across the barbell lifts. But I guess the one thing that keeps me hanging on right now is that there's about 2 weeks until pitchers and catchers report to spring training, and I just wish I could sleep until then. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk a little bit about how to figure out which query fired that trigger. Now, the technique that I'm going to show you, I'm going to say this multiple times. If you need to audit things for legal compliance reasons or anything else, I would not absolutely swear by this technique. But if you just need to get a sense of which queries are firing this trigger off for some other troubleshooting purposes, this will probably get you where you need to go. All right, so for any lawyers out there, or for anyone out there who's going to have something smart to say about what I'm going to show you, make sure we temper this expectation. We set this we set this level appropriately before I even show you a lick of code. All right, so just remember that. If you like this channel, if you think, wow, that Eric Darling sure has useful tips about SQL Server and how to dress to do barbell lifts, you can sign up for a membership, and for as few as $4 a month, you can support my efforts to bring you this amazing SQL Server content. If for some reason, I don't know, maybe you spent all your money on something that you thought was cool, like, I don't know, the gym membership, and you don't have $4 a month for SQL Server training, I totally understand. You can do all sorts of free things that help this channel grow and expand, like your muscles at the gym. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. If you are interested in asking me questions, either about stuff that I say on the channel, like not just leave a comment on the video, but if you're just interested in asking me questions generally, you can go to this link right here, and you can submit a completely anonymous question that I will answer publicly. Keep in mind, this is not private consulting advice. This is stuff that I'm going to answer live. Well, not exactly live. I'm going to record answers to it, and then I'm going to put them on YouTube. I've recorded my first one, and you'll see it soon. So keep that in mind. All right. If you need SQL Server consulting, I am the best SQL Server consultant in the world outside of New Zealand, especially when it comes to these things. And of course, my rates are reasonable, just like my shorts. If you would like some very high quality SQL Server training content, by golly and gosh, I've got that too. You can get all 24 hours of it for about 50 USD. Again, down in the video description, this is all assembled for your lazy behind that's probably not going to the gym. You're probably already completely neglecting all of your New Year's resolutions, and I'm very disappointed in you. You should take your health seriously. As far as upcoming events go, well, SQL Saturday, New York City. The one, the only, the yearly event is taking place on May the 10th of 2025 at the Microsoft offices in lovely, crime-free Times Square. So I look forward to seeing you there if you happen to find yourself in the area. If not, well, I don't know. I guess we'll have to meet again some other time. But with that out of the way, let's talk about how we can accomplish this amazing feat. Now, I've got a couple of tables here. One of them is just to have a table to put a trigger on. Right. we need a table to put a trigger on. Well, I guess we could use a view too, but then I'd have to create a table and a view, and well, I don't know. For $4 a month, you only get a table, okay? All right, that's what you get. And then we have a table that we are going to log some stuff to. Now, there are lots of other columns you could put in here. There are many things you could put into this table that would give you more contextual information about the user's stuff that fired the trigger. But I'm just creating a simple 3-column table here. And in this table, I am putting, if, again, zoom it. It only takes me hitting Control and 1 4 times to get it to work these days. That's a nice change of pace. At least it's an even number. That's what the number 4 has going for it. But the stuff that I'm going to stick in there is pretty simple. I'm collecting the username. I'm collecting the time that it happened. And I'm collecting the query text as XML because this is me personally, I like being able to click on a query and have the whole query appear in front of me. I just like the simplicity of it, so I'm using XML for this. All right. And zoom in is going to keep messing with me today. Great. And then I have this trigger that I'm going to be using. And, again, not production ready, not legal compliance ready level of stuff here. But just to show you how this can work, this is what I'm using. Okay. So I'm going to catch inserts, updates, and deletes with the trigger. IRL, that's what the kids call at work. I would maybe not want to have inserts, updates, and deletes all caught by the same trigger unless I was doing something very, very simple. And in this case, I am. All right. This is simple enough. Now, one thing that I think is critically and crucially important to start every single trigger off with is this little block. Right? Before you do anything else, if row count big equals 0, if nothing actually changed, bail out. I like to have in my if blocks, even if I'm just doing the one thing after, I like to have begin and end in there. You only have to type it once, and it makes very clear what one thing you are doing. Sure, it's a little verbose, it's a little extra typing, but the nice thing here is your intentions are perfectly clear. All right? Even though it would work to just say if row count big equals 0, return. Well, I like to make sure, I like to aim for very clear code as much as possible. That may not show in all of the code that I've ever written in my life, but the older I get, the more I appreciate it. All that stuff. And then, of course, we want to set no count on just in case. And then all I'm going to do in here is it's what should have been a relatively simple insert. Should have been, but turned out I had to do a little bit of extra typing here. I'm not sure that this is living up to my recently professed standard of code clarity, but it got me where I was going, where I'm going to be inserting. So like you can't put for XML path out here, like in the insert. You have to nest it a little bit in here. So I'm just taking the event info column from this. Oh boy, where did you go? From this lovely DMV, sys.dmexec input buffer. And I'm feeding the current SPID and the current request ID into sys.dmexec input buffer so I get a little bit more precision from the statement that I'm executing. And I'm going to put the text in there. And this should all be pretty well set up for us. We can just make double sure there. And then down in this section, I have a begin transaction fully spelled out, and a rollback transaction fully spelled out. And then within the confines of that transaction, I am doing an insert, an update, and a delete. You might notice that I am inserting a row, I am updating a row, and then I am, rolling that back. All right. Now, that's about it. You might be wondering why I'm inserting the value 3 there. Well, it's because I had already inserted 2 rows, and I don't want any primary key errors to show up and make me look like a fool in front of my 6,000 dedicated, devoted data darlings out there. And I'm just going to run this real quick. And so it's going to run an insert and update delete, and that is going to select from the logging table. And, you know, why I said this is kind of quick and dirty, and why I said that it would probably not be great for legal/compliance reasons is because it does capture like a batch of text, right? Like we have the whole batch in here. And if you look at the query, and part of the reason why I like the XML is because I can just click on this and we can see everything. So like it has everything in here. So if you had multiple statements in here that were like inserting, updating, or deleting from a table, then you would have like the whole thing, right? So like it captures a block of text. But like I said, if you just need to kind of figure out where some stuff is coming from, or like, you know, like if you have like an ORM doing this, like with the store procedure, you would get a whole lot of text back. But if you have like an ORM doing this, just simple CRUD app that's sending like one statement in and that's the end of it, this is probably going to be good enough to get you what you need to figure out which statements are firing the trigger and maybe causing problems for you in some way. Or if you just want to figure out like, oh, what actually does something that this trigger cares about, well, this is a good way to do it. So pretty simple logging mechanism there. Again, not great for legal or compliance standards, depending on how rigorous those standards are for you, but I don't know. But yeah, you could totally use this to just, you know, quick and dirty kind of figure out which statements are causing your triggers to go pow, 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 and I don't know, do something that you care about, because you shouldn't log things if you don't care about them. If you're never going to look at them, if you're never going to analyze them, if you're never going to review the data, I would not recommend logging the data, because it is an extra step. And under high concurrency, you would be inserting, you know, you would be doing some extra work in the trigger. So, you know, just be judicious in all things that you do in your database. Funny thing about databases is there's just as much to get right in them as there is to get wrong in them. It takes to thread that needle sometimes. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you learned something. I hope that you will be judicious in all things that you do in your database. And I will see you in another video, another time, another place. All right, cool. Thank you. Goodbye.